I never thought my life would shrink to the size of a single room. The home I had built with my late husband for 40 years, filled with laughter, memories, and small daily routines, was suddenly out of reach. It all started innocently, or so I thought. My son called me one spring morning. "Mum," he said, his voice unusually cheerful, "we think it's time you get a little help around the house. You know, just to make life easier." I hesitated. I had been independent for years. I cooked, cleaned, managed bills, and even drove myself to appointments. But he insisted, repeating the same words like a mantra. "It's for your safety. Just a few weeks." So I agreed. I trusted him, as I had for my whole life. The day they came to move me in temporarily, I packed a small bag. My son, along with his wife, reassured me repeatedly. They promised visits, phone calls, even outings. I waved goodbye to the old house, thinking I'd return in days, weeks at most. I had no idea how quickly my world was about to change. The nursing home was clean, sterile, and quiet in a way I hadn't expected. The nurses were polite but distant. I was just another patient among dozens. At first, I tried to make the best of it. I walked the hallways, tried the bingo games, and greeted the staff with smiles. But something felt wrong. My son stopped calling as often. His messages became shorter, clipped, almost dismissive. It wasn't until a week later that I realized the truth. I had overheard a conversation between the staff and a maintenance worker. They sold the Monroe house last week. "New owners are moving in next month," he said casually, like he was discussing the weather. My heart froze. My home, the place where I had raised my children, cooked family dinners, and celebrated every holiday gone, sold. Without my knowledge, without my consent, I couldn't breathe. I sat on the edge of my narrow bed, gripping the blanket, trying to make sense of what had happened. I called my son immediately. "Why? Why would you do this?" I whispered, my voice trembling. He laughed lightly on the other end. "Mum, we thought it was best. You're safer here, and it made sense. You don't have to worry about anything anymore." I realized then that the betrayal wasn't just financial, it was emotional. I had been reduced to a pawn, a body to be cared for, a resource to be managed. The years of love, trust, and patience I had poured into my family meant nothing. I thought about my husband. Jake had always warned me, even the people we love most can surprise us in ways that hurt, he'd said. And now, without him, I was alone in the sharp truth of those words. I spent the first few nights in silence, staring at the pale walls. I didn't cry at first. I was too stunned, too enraged. My mind raced. What could I do? Where could I turn? Then I remembered something Jake had always kept tucked away, a folder labeled "break glass in case of fire." Inside were savings we had kept separate, a few $1,000s meant for emergencies. It wasn't much compared to what had been taken from me, but it was mine, and more importantly, it was enough to fight back. I called a lawyer, someone Jake had trusted years ago. I told him everything: the house, the deception, the manipulation. He listened carefully, asked the right questions, and then said the words I had been longing to hear. "We can stop them. We can make this right." The next few weeks were a blur of legal meetings, phone calls, and gathering evidence. I had to dig up old paperwork, tax documents, photographs, and even emails where my son and daughter-in-law had discussed their plan. Every time I thought about their faces, the casual smiles, the ease with which they had betrayed me, I felt a new kind of fire ignite inside me. Then came the day of confrontation. I walked into my lawyer's office with my documents carefully organized, my hands steady, my heart pounding. The letters went out. Notices were filed. Bank accounts were frozen. The house reclaimed at least in part and sold under legal supervision to repay what had been stolen from me. I didn't do it out of revenge. I did it for myself, for my dignity, for the memory of a husband who believed in honesty and integrity, for the grandmother who deserved respect and care, not betrayal. When the dust settled, I made a choice that changed everything. I moved into a small, independent living community for seniors. I picked the furniture I wanted, arranged my photos, and planted flowers in the courtyard. For the first time in months, I felt the quiet joy of control over my own life. My son and daughter-in-law called, texted, begged. I didn't answer. Their apologies, excuses, and pleas didn't matter. What mattered was that I had reclaimed my story. I had chosen peace. I had chosen to surround myself with people who valued me for who I am, not for what I could provide. I wake up every morning now in a sunlit room, make my coffee just the way I like it, and take my walks in the courtyard, greeting neighbors and sharing stories. I am free, I am safe, I am seen, and the house that was taken from me, it no longer defines me. I define me. Sometimes, when I walk past my old street, I think of the betrayal and smile quietly because they thought they could make me small. They thought I would be silent. But I spoke. I acted. One chose myself. And in doing so, I learned something invaluable. No matter your age, no matter your family, no matter the cruelty, you are never powerless.